Can this Chicago Bulls team become a championship contender? I discuss what is going on, y'all. Fast Sports Talk back at it with another video talking, of course, some NBA and here to talk about some Chicago Bulls talk. So if you are new to the channel or if you're a Bulls fan or an NBA fan in general, go ahead and subscribe by clicking the button down below and turning on my post notifications by clicking the bell icon down below, and also follow me on my social media links below and on the screen for my Twitter and my Instagram. You're going to want to follow me on that because, again, I post a lot. So with that being said, let's talk about it. Let's talk about the fact that, do I think there is a way to make this Chicago Bulls team a championship contender? Well, of course, there's a way, but what exactly is that formula? And are the Bulls closer than we potentially think? Okay, so let's talk about it with free agency right around the corner, with the draft just being complete. And now that the core of this team is pretty much set, what needs to happen now and moving forward for this Bulls team to get back to championship contention? So since the draft just ended, let's talk about the core of this team after the Bulls drafted point guard Coby White with the 7th overall pick. And they drafted Daniel Gafford, the center out of Arkansas, with the 30th overall pick in the second round. So right now, the depth of this team looks as follows. You've got Coby White, who I expect to be the starting point guard and beat out Chris Dunn for that job. As, of course, your point guard, Chris Dunn the backup. And then you've got, to me, a veteran point guard that you're going to add in free agency this summer. Shooting guard, you've got Zach LaVine, backup Denzel Valentine, who missed a lot of last season, but he's going to be returning. You're starting small forward, Otto Porter Jr., and then backup Chandler Hutchinson, who we drafted last year as well. Power forward Lauri Markkanen, who was, of course, our stud. And then behind him, I believe we will get a veteran power forward that we will sign in free agency, a veteran big man, because we need that right now. We lack the necessary big man depth. And then our starting centers, of course, Wendell Carter Jr., and I believe the rookie we drafted, Daniel Gafford, will be his backup. And then you've got Cristiano Felicio as well. But I don't expect him to get any sort of playing time because he's awful. So that is sort of the depth chart for the Bulls right now, okay? A very young roster with not a lot of depth and not a lot of veteran leadership. So what does this team need to have to happen to become a championship contender? Because here's the thing, when I bring that up right now, a lot of Bulls fans laugh. Oh my God, this team is so far away from championship contending. It's not even close. I don't trust Pax and Gar. I don't trust the organization. All valid points, but have you ever thought of this, okay? As much as we want to, first of all, give flack to Gar and Pax, they're not going anywhere, so let's just deal with it, okay? And here's the thing. We were championship contenders under their regime when Derrick Rose and that era was happening. So let's not act like it's never happened under Gar and Pax. Are they incompetent in some areas? Absolutely. But are we so held back by them that we absolutely cannot contend for a championship? I don't believe that to be the case, because to me, there have been organizations that have won despite lack of good leadership. Now, again, does it hold you back? Absolutely. But if we're just talking about, can it happen? I do believe it can, okay? So let's put that aside for a second here. And let's talk about the NBA for a second and the current landscape. So we know with the NBA Finals and the injuries to Kevin Durant and Klay Thompson that the NBA this next season is wide open. I mean, for God's sakes, the Lakers are the favorites according to Vegas to win the title, and they've got like 5 players on the roster, okay? They don't even have a starting point guard or a starting shooting guard, but they're the favorites to win the championship, okay? So the next year, the NBA is wide open, okay? And if you want to just take a look at the Eastern Conference and the implications from this coming free agency, folks, it is unreal. You take a look at the top team, the Milwaukee Bucks. They've got Chris Middleton, who's a free agent. They could lose him. And they've got Malcolm Brogdon, who's a restricted free agent. They could potentially lose him, okay? So that's 2 starters that you could lose if you're the Bucks. You take a look at the number 2 team, Kawhi Leonard and the Toronto Raptors. They could literally lose Kawhi Leonard, who's a free agent, and Marc Gasol's a free agent. So, again, if the Raptors lose Kawhi Leonard, they're done. If the Bucks lose Middleton and Brogdon, that's a big hit for them. The Boston Celtics imploding right in front of our very eyes with Kyrie Irving, I believe, leaving and Al Horford following him as well. So that takes them out of championship contention in the Eastern Conference and certainly in the NBA in general. Then you take a look at the Philadelphia 76ers. Jimmy Butler's a free agent. Tobias Harris a free agent. JJ Redick's a free agent. Could they re-sign all those three? They could. But could they lose all those three? They could as well. So you lose those three, you're down to Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid. Now you move them from championship contention. So after that, who really is there? I mean, the Bulls are not really that far from getting to the top of the East as we want to think, folks. Because like I said, the top 4 teams in the conference all have major summers coming up in which they could lose major starters, the star player on the team, big free agents. Anything could happen. My point being is, a couple of years ago, I felt very pessimistic when we were going through the Golden State era, and I said the Bulls should absolutely just rebuild because there's no point of even trying at this point because you're not beating Golden State. They've got 4 All-Stars, and you need 4 All-Stars to beat them, and you got my point there, right? But now, we don't know if Klay Thompson leaves. We don't know if Kevin Durant leaves. A lot of things have been shaken up in the NBA, and parity right now is the highest it's been since I can remember. So what does that mean? It's time to pounce on the opportunity right now. I do believe it is time for the Bulls to take that next leap, not just into playoff contention, but maybe make that leap into, again, championship contention. So how will the Bulls be able to do that? Let's talk about it. So again, what do you need to be a championship level roster? Well, to me, it's about 4 things that you absolutely need. You need to have a superstar or multiple superstars. You need to have a solid bench, at least 2 solid bench players, okay? I'm not talking about the whole bench as we saw, but at least 2 solid, a really good 6-man, and then another player behind them, okay? You need shooting. Absolutely need some solid shooting in today's league. And you need defense. There's no NBA championship level team that wins without being a good defensive team. So to me, those 4 things are important. I left out a number of things. I left out coaching. I don't believe you need an absolute top level coach unless you're Pop, or unless you're a guy like that. I do believe you can win in this league without a top level head coach. That's why, as much as I don't like the Bulls head coach Jim Boylen, I still think we can contend in spite of him being our head coach. So to me, I think it's possible. Again, I didn't list out the fact that you need 4 All-Stars right now because I don't think you do. Again, the Toronto Raptors won with 1 superstar, okay? The Cleveland Cavaliers got to the NBA Finals with 1 superstar in 2018. And again, you had Kevin Love, but you get my point there. So to me, again, this is with a compromised Golden State. If Golden State's fully healthy, obviously my definition changes. But right now, with me not knowing how Katie's going to be and Klay after this injury, let's just talk about the state of the league right now and what the Toronto Raptors were able to do. And can the Bulls emulate that? The biggest key, okay, this is the biggest key right here. Nothing's more important than this. The number 1 way for the Chicago Bulls to become championship contenders, and it seems a little bit, obvious, but you need somebody to become that superstar, okay? Out of our core, and what's our core? You've got Laurie, you've got Zach LaVine, you've got Wendell, Carter Jr., and you've got Kobe White. Okay, Otto Porter Jr. is past that, so we're not expecting him to turn into a superstar. Out of these 4, somebody needs to become a superstar, okay? And more than likely, it needs to be more than one of them. Okay, either you become the Giannis, Kawhi, LeBron level superstar, or you have a bunch of high level players. What do I mean by that? Let's take the Raptors and the Sixers. You've got the Raptors with the 1 level superstar in Kawhi Leonard, that top 3 to 5 player superstar, or you've got 2 top 20 players in Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons. Again, I know Ben Simmons doesn't have a lot of fans, but he's still a very good player. So one of those needs to happen. So to me, I see more likely that we get the Sixers model than we get the Raptors model. Because as much as I like the Bulls core, I don't believe any of these guys are going to be as good as Giannis, are going to be as good as Kawhi, and in that level, KD, LeBron. You get my point. Could I be proven wrong? Absolutely, and I would love to, but I don't see it. Not in Zach LaVine, not in Laurie, not in Wendell, not in Kobe White. They're all going to be very good players, but I don't see that from them. So what do I see? I can definitely see them turning into top 20 players, okay? And here's my prediction. I think it's going to be Laurie, and I think it's going to be Zach, okay? I think Zach and Laurie are going to be our guys. If they develop like we expect them to and turn into all-stars and then, top-level players in this league, then we've got that first part of the formula set, because that will be enough for us to make that leap forward. Because again, when did the Sixers take off? When Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid broke through, okay? The process was obviously in the slumps, and then Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid take that leap, and then they, of course, become championship contenders. And that's why I was telling you, look at the Sixers right in front of your very eyes. They became championship level contenders from the ground up, okay? Literally follow the process, and that's what the Bulls can do. So to me, Zach LaVine and Lauri need to absolutely become high-level all-stars for that to happen. And then after that, you're talking about defensively. We need either them to become two-way players, or we need to surround them with two-way players. Otto Porter Jr., I believe, is a good start. He's a very good 3-and-D player. Kobe White, hopefully, is a good defender. Wendell Carter Jr., we know is a good defender. But we need to either have these guys develop defensively, or we need to surround them with good defensive players, because every championship level roster, every single one of them is a good defensive team. They're usually top 10 in a defense. They usually have an all-NBA defensive player. So the Bulls need that. I believe we have that in Wendell Carter Jr. I believe he is that guy, our defensive stalwart, but we can certainly add to that. So defensively, we need that right now. He's not at that level yet, so we're missing the defense, but we can get to that. Then we also need shooting. Here's where I do believe we kind of have it. Everyone on our roster can kind of shoot. Lauri can kind of shoot. OPJ can shoot. Zach LaVine can shoot. Kobe White can shoot. Wendell Carter Jr.'s got a bit of a mid-range. Obviously, I don't think he can hit threes as well, but he can shoot. He can hit sort of threes. But I do like our roster. Then you take a look at the bench. Denzel Valentine can shoot. Chandler Hutchinson, okay. Gafford can't shoot, of course. But Chris Dunn, well, he's okay. But you're talking about the starting five. They can all shoot, okay? So I like that. But again, you can always add more shooting to the roster. So I do believe the Bulls have that. So we've got the players that can turn into those high-level all-stars. We've got the players that can shoot right now and turn into better shooters or surround them with more shooting. And we've got the defenders that can turn into the all-defensive type of players, okay? Then what do you need? The two solid bench players. We're missing that too as well right now. And we need solid depth on the bench. We need a guy to come off the bench and score. We don't have that right now. So our bench is completely, absolutely weak. We need that. And we need to sign free agent veteran players, okay? You need veterans on the roster. The Sixers, after Jimmy Butler and Joel Embiid popped off, added Jimmy Butler, added Tobias Harris. That's how they became championship level team, because they had veteran leadership on that roster. You need some sort of veteran presence, whether, this summer we sign a Patrick Beverly, it could even be a Derrick Rose, a JJ Redick, guys like that can come in, teach the Bulls how to win, because in the playoffs, again, you don't win without veterans. Young guys don't win in the playoffs, folks. They just don't. You take a look at the Toronto Raptors. Who was their big veteran pickup? It was Marc Gasol. They had guys like Serge Ibaka on the roster. Yes, Pascal Siakam played out, but you would not have won the championship without that veteran leadership. So the Bulls absolutely need to add that. So to me, that's really the formula right there, folks. First things first, you need Zach and Lauri to absolutely pop off, or you need two guys to become high-level all-stars. Add some shooting, add some veteran leadership, add some bench depth, and then add some defense, okay? Again, it seems like a lot, but the Bulls have the parts in place for all of them. It's not like you're starting from scratch in literally all aspects of that. We have it. I do believe the Bulls can go out and make it happen, and I do believe within a year or two, this team can become a championship level roster. I know it sounds laughable at this point, but believe me, folks, it's not that far-fetched. This year, the goal should be to become a playoff contention like Milwaukee was last year, and then a year from now, take that leap to championship level contention. And I do believe the Bulls have that in them. So let me know what you guys think. If you guys agree or disagree, this summer in free agency, we're going to add the veteran leadership we need. Hopefully, it will be the right ones. I'm looking forward to that. Let's see what happens. If you guys agree with me or disagree with me, let me know down below. As always, thanks for watching.